Virginia Show 2019 is about to start. We're here in the animal enclosure. As you can see, this is where the animals are stored. They were here overnight. Careful attention paid to them. We have a lot of work going on with the preparation for the Diageo event. And here we have Cavan Dillon. Cavan, a lot of work going on here, a lot of preparation.
Yeah, it's their wedding day, so the cows have to look a little bit, look at the very best, and it's not just today. It's getting them ready for the last couple of months, and it starts really when the calf is born. They get enough depth of rib and get. But if the animal isn't correctly made from the word go, all the preparation in the world won't get it right for the
right. So you see an animal, you'd say that looks like a prize animal.
Yeah.
And perfect. Maybe you'll run through where we see some shears and different things. Maybe you'd run through what they're doing here.
Well, this is Stephen McLaughlin getting Sarah and John Dowding's cow ready, and Stephen is a well-known exhibitor and gets cattle ready for shows and for sales and things like this. And Cyril Dowling has a tremendous record here in the Baileys. I think he has won the Baileys 6 times, which is a tremendous achievement. And this cow has a lot of the characteristics that the judge will be looking for today. She has this dairiness and with strength, and a strong top, and a very good udder and good legs and feet. And he's trying to highlight the strong points in the cow, and showing off her udder to the very best. And behind us, then there's another cow here, and she probably won't be in the running for the overall honours, but she's after 9 calves, so that's an exception.
You hear somewhat on the news about farmyard safety. These animals seem to be very docile. They are used to people working on them, shears, knives, and different bits and pieces. So they're used to.
They're very docile. But they get used to a bit of handling and a bit of being, and they know they're good looking. They're like a good-looking woman. They know they're good-looking, and they like showing off.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they take pride in what's been done to them as well.
They do.
And are there different categories within the thing, or what? Maybe it outlines some of the different categories that there are.
Well, there's heifers, because they're like minor footballers, and there's heifers. Then there's junior cows, and they rarely get to.
They're like the minor team.
They're like the minor team, or the under 20 team.
Right.
But and then there's the senior cows, and usually the champion comes from the senior cows, and it's like senior football. We won't talk about senior football in Cavan at the moment, but I was looking in the hotel this morning at some of the old Cavan teams that won the All-Irelands back in the 40s.
All right, yeah.
They're all gone now.
And now, of course, Diageo is a big support. For this event, and presumably without sponsors, it's difficult to run these type of shows.
Yeah, it's Diageo and GAA put a lot of money into this, and they employ Brendan Smith, who coordinates the whole event, and Brendan is seen at shows all over Ireland during the summer, canvassing the better cows at these shows to come to the Baileys. So it's a team effort again, and we're very grateful to Diageo and GAA and Brendan Smith for putting on this show, because we have some of the best cows in the world over here at the moment, and I don't think they're getting recognition. The breeders are getting recognition for having such a high quality animal. But the last time we went to the European show, we cleaned up there. We won a championship, won the best group, won every event. I think all our animals won the first 2 in every class,
And was it in Ireland, I suppose it is on the plate a little bit because our animals are grass-fed and they are in the open and it's a clean environment, not like some other countries. So would that be a contributory factor in Ireland being successful?
Not so, it wouldn't be significant really, because a lot of these cows, they will produce a pile of milk, and many of these cows today are giving over 3,000 gallons. That's averaging over 10 gallons a day, and some will do up to 12, 13 gallons a day with high fat and protein. But this cow behind us now has done 110 tons of milk in her lifetime so far, which is tremendous production, and she's still quite a fresh cow. So the breed is knocked a little bit for not lasting, because when the cows are giving that kind of production, it knocks a little bit out of them.
Right.
But this cow is after 110 tons of milk, which is
that's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah. And the calves you were saying as well.
Nine calves, and she's coming with her tent, and she's still quite a fresh cow. I don't think she'd be in there running for overall honours today, but she's still a very fresh cow.
And we say the offspring of the cows, is there a genetic sort of thing there that they can be somewhat, even in the running for competition?
Yeah, there's different competitions today. There's the junior, the heifer milk, and the junior cow and the senior cow. And then there's the EBI award, the highest indexed animal in the show, and the highest protein animal in the show, and the exhibitor bred animal, in other words, animals that are bred by the exhibitor. Right. There's a special prize for that.
And is there a structure behind the thing? That can any farmer enter the competition, or how does the entry into these competitions take place?
Any farmer can enter, but we generally chase down what we think are the better cows to come to the Baileys. And all over the country, the Baileys is perceived as the most prestigious show to do well in, and I'm from Cork, but down our way, have your cow good enough for the Baileys, That's
an honour to have within a farm.
It's an honour to have a cow good enough to compete in the Baileys,
right.
Never mind win it,
right.
But it's hard to get them to come up from Cork and Kerry and that far away unless they have a chance of winning.
Right. But you have some very good competitions in Cork. But nationally, there are quite a few key places in Ireland, and presumably within a reasonable number of mileage, people will, because they have pride in their animal and they want to go to these competitions.
Yeah, it's like in Cork, where I live now in Clonakilty, we have a half dozen shows within 20 miles of where I live.
Right.
So they don't have to come as far as Cavan
right.
to show off their animals. But they will come to Cavan if they think they have a cow in it with a chance of winning the Baileys.
Right.
Or even to be in the first 10, to get into the first top 10 in the Baileys is a huge achievement.
Right.
And it increases the value of their offspring.
Oh, right. So,
yeah.
So there's that structure as well. But and would say the farmer, when he would have a successful cow, would he ever think of selling it?
Not particularly. The time we were in Brussels, there was people coming up trying to buy those cattle, and there was as much as 30,000 being offered for some of those cows. And if she's worth 30,000 to somebody else, she's worth 30,000 to me. Like it was the attitude.
Yeah.
And but then some other breeders have a motto: everything is for sale at a price.
Right. But it is a great accolade to have, and presumably farmers will be viewing other people's animals and seeing how they are progressing. And how much work would they have to do if they think, now maybe we're a little bit, we have to tweak here or tweak there? Is there sort of, I don't mean spying on other, but did they observe other animals to make sure how their animal is performing or growing? Presumably they mature over time and it changes the animal a little bit. is there much sort of scrutiny of other animals?
Not really. It's like a manager of a football team. To look after your own team is enough.
Yeah, right.
You know, and not to worry about anybody else. Get your animal out as good as it can possibly be.
Right.
The same as the Dublin footballers or the Cavan footballers. Get them out as good as they can be, and let the opposition do whatever they like. But as long as my team are as good as they can be, you know. And it's the same with a cow. But you know, you see them doing the top lines and things like that now. You know, they'll try and level the top line and just clip them all over and show the dairiness, because you need this dairiness that you show an ability to milk, and you need strength as well as that. You can have dairiness and not be strong.
Right.
But you know, it can be strong and not dairy.
Right.
But if you have the combination of both, you have a really good cow.
Right.
And then the others and others are legs and feet are also very important, because they're the working parts.
Yeah, but then the judges, like, that's one part of the preparation and the farmer and the animal, but then the judges, but they must have tremendous experience, because like, they must have a very fine trained eye to be able to see, you know, the key characteristics of a successful cow.
Yeah, well, experience probably. And our judge today, Peter Waring, has judged major shows in England, in Northern Ireland, and he has judged the herds competition in Ireland, but he has never judged a major show in Ireland. So he'd be looking for a dairy cow with enough strength, with a good udder that moves well on both on legs and feet.
Right. Oh, well, that's it's quite interesting, and I'm sure people who are looking in. We'll move up a little bit to the camera, because people are walking in front of it. People who are looking in will be astounded, because this is almost like, you know, you see these boutiques and different things, you know, for the lady in people's lives that they're getting themselves. But there's a lot more attention really played for some of the animals here.
Yeah. Well, it's the animal must basically be correct and proper shape herself, but it's that little bit extra on the day that might get you over the line, like, you know. And it's the final preparation is very important.
And you can't train an animal to wink or smile at the judge or anything.
No, you're smiling at the judge. That doesn't come into it. But judges, it's a one person's opinion, and the judge is he's not infallible, so like, it's his opinion. And I haven't yet seen a judge that has gone out to favour anybody. You know, they'll.
It's just on the merits of the cow and what he sees it. Yeah. Well,
everybody mightn't agree with him, but it's what he likes and what he sees special in this cow.
Right.
We have cows here today from. I see the heifer just passed there. Johnny Leahy is from Kerry, and we have from Kerry to Donegal.
Right.
So there's heifers or cows from all over the country.
So that'd be even a couple of days preparation for the cow, even before transport alone.
Oh yeah, and they're here probably. If you have a chance of winning, you're probably here since Tuesday at the latest. You know.
Right.
Because, you know, travelling 200 miles in a trailer is hard on the cows, and to get them to bag up and to put on milk and to fill themselves up, you know, it's important.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic, and so hopefully we'll see some. Well, we will see some of them, because we're covering the finals and the cup. So thank you very much for giving us a good insight into what's happening here in the we call it the parlour, so. Hopefully now we'll have a successful outcome from, and we'll talk to the winner. So thank you very much, then.
Thank you, and I hope the weather will be kind to us.
And from Cork.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Joined by Patrick Gaynor, president of the Virginia Show. Very successful. It's 78th year, I believe.
78th year, yeah, this year, and going from strength to strength, I suppose, every year. It's great to see it. Sorry. It's great to see it going, and the support we get is unbelievable from the exhibitors, the trade stands, and then we have a great committee. Can't forget the committee.
Of course. No. Well, we'll be around the show seeing all the different stall holders and exhibitors and sponsors. So without a lot of these people, the show wouldn't be as successful as it is.
Not at all. No. Especially the trade stands, which I suppose is a kind of a sidestep from the agricultural part of the show, the animal part of the show, but you need them, and people love to come to see the machinery and the different things that the stands provide. It's like some people come to see the animals, and some people, there's something for everybody, and only for it's like a wheel. The whole thing has to go round and round, and there's something for everybody.
Of course, agriculture in the news at the moment, especially with the beef side of things. What way does that affect you with numbers, or with farmers that may have difficulties? Does that impact somewhat on the show, or maybe?
Well, maybe a little bit, but I think the people that show animals is dedicated to the showing of animals, and I think they do anything to show their animals, and I think that I wouldn't think it's a major effect on the show scene at the moment anyhow, but maybe in time to come, you don't know what's coming down the line, but at the moment I would think that the people that show, and they love showing their animals, and it's testimony here, like they're here for the last 3 or 4 days minding their animals and showing them. And
yeah, I called around to do a preliminary thing last night, and the care and attention to the animals and people minding them overnight and everything, it seemed to be very special. People are dedicated to the process, and that probably means, and our earlier speaker was saying that the animal actually knows that and responds and respects that.
They probably do, because they mind it so well, and if you respect them, they'll respect you, and like they do, it's a passion for the animals, and everyone that shows animals has a lovely passion for animals, and that's why they show them. And look at it's I suppose in your blood too, it's going on for generations. When I was younger, we used to show animals, and it just go on, and my children are showing animals now as well, so it just goes on in generations. It seems to run in the family. But it's a pastime too. Right. It's a good pastime as well. And you meet people that the same passion as yourself, and it's nice. It's nice to show them.
Yeah, but there's something for everyone apart from the animal. Like a lot of the trade shows, a lot of the different stalls. It's really a family thing. There's things for children and down at the school and everything.
Yeah,
so
down to
it is also a family affair as well.
Yeah, it's a family affair. There's amusements down at the school. There's there's a fashion show going on. There's a kind of we call it a farming conference going on, that you have speakers there educating the farmers on different things as well. And then you have at the flower show, you have bacon, you have farm projects and everything like that. There's so many people involved in the running of the show, and in the participating in the show, there's so many people involved, and then you have the trade stands as well. Like, you can't forget about them, because they're a part of it as well, and
we hope to meet up with some of the trade stand holders later on. You're a busy man, so your phone is hopping.
I see that.
We better let you go and attend to all the matters of the show. So thanks very much for talking.
Lovely, and thank you very much for coming to the show.
Now joined by Brendan Smith, who organises the Bailey's Cow competition. There seem to be quite a few entries this year.
Yes, we have a good entry this year. We always have a good entry. We usually have about 25 of the best cows in Ireland, and it provides a great spectacle, because we have entries from all over the country, from as far away as Kerry, right up into County Down, Wexford, Mayo, right around the whole country.
Yeah, we heard that there was some, as we were taking earlier, a cow came in from Kerry, so it means that they were saying that there was some from Donegal, so it's a full national event, even though it's here in Virginia.
It is. It's a full national event, including Northern Ireland. I think we have three entries from Northern Ireland, and as you said, Donegal, Wexford, Cork, Kerry, Dublin, Louth, Meath, Monaghan, Mayo, right around the whole country. The 4 provinces are represented in the competition today.
Well, we hope to cover that when they get out into the arena and the judge. But sponsorship, while it's not easy to mention 1 or 2 or 3, but sponsorship in general is very important to the event.
It is, yeah. It's jointly sponsored by Diageo Bailey's and by Glanbia. It's been running quite a long time now. This is its 36th year. It started off way back, I think, in 1983, and Danby, Virginia, the Virginia plant supplied the cream for Bailey's liqueur. That was the origin of the sponsorship.
And so with this being the 78th event, it seems to be going from strength to strength every year.
It is. It has become a very prestigious competition, and it's the one that every breeder wants to win. And they're very anxious to compete in, and they will only compete in if they have a cow of a very high standard. So you won't get a huge crowd in it, but you'll get cows of a very high standard, and that, I think, is what provides the spectacle, not just for the similar exhibitors or breeders like themselves, but for farmers in general, and indeed for the wider public as well.
We're here with the horse ring. Hopefully you can hear us over the PA system, but there are quite a few horses in the arena. A very prestigious event. We can see our judges in the centre.
Now, judges now is commencing now in ring 1. So that's in ring 1 judging straight away.
As you can hear from the PA, we're at ring 1 and the judging has started. So quite a few, and some very elegant attire on some of the people showcasing the horses.
So the brood males, class 1, non-thoroughbred brood males, to ring 1 immediately, please. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're all very welcome to the Virginia show, and at the moment we have a grand fine day here. So at the moment the young stock judge, or the cattle judging is on, and the horse and pony and sheep judging is on as well. And there's a 10 talk on biodiversity starting at half 11 below.
We're now joined by Jerry Brady, Chairman of Cavan County Board. Jerry, while the Cavan team is building, you're also in a different form of building here today in the Virginia show.
Absolutely, we're in the form of selling anywhere, hopefully selling. We're here to promote our Win the Dream in Dublin 15, which is a fantastic opportunity for someone to win a fabulous house in Clonsilla. Hansfield is the estate on the development, and it's worth €375,000, and some lucky person win that house for as little as €100. The tickets are €100 each. It's all in aid of our Centre of Excellence at Cavan, in Cavan at the back of Kingspan Breffni, where we're hoping to develop 3 pitches gymnasium for the future generations of Cavan footballers. It's all about our youth, our academy squads, and also our adult teams.
Yeah, I saw some photographs online about the area that in question, and it seems to be given great scope. But of course, teams now, it's not like they've moved a long way from a single pitch and everybody training on the one pitch. So is this part of your process that building the Cavan team, you need these extra facilities?
Absolutely. At the moment we're starved for facilities, and we're totally dependent on the goodwill of our clubs around the county to provide us with facilities for training at all levels. Let's take our academies, our under-16s, our minors, under-20s and our senior teams. So we need our own centre of excellence. Like all clubs need a second pitch now, we actually want to develop 3 pitches as our centre of excellence, and we're very fortunate to have acquired land at the back of Kingspan Breffni, which means that we don't have to worry about putting in the other facilities like dressing rooms or car parking or electricity, water. All that is there on site. That'll save us a lot. So it's all about pitch development and our centre of excellence. It's all about the youth of the future, generations of Cavan players coming up, and our academy squads in particular.
Yeah, I was privileged to be on a tour of Breffni Park with George Cartwright, and it's amazing how the history behind Breffni Park. In the early days, they were saying that when Breffni Park was developed, it left that the Cavan team were successful. So obviously now that you have the new facilities, you're hoping that will replicate itself with the current team.
Yes, look, at the moment we've got fabulous facilities in Kingspan Breffni, so we have, it's the envy of a lot of county boards around the country. Like, our playing surface is second to none. We have developed or resurfaced the pitch there last year. It's in fabulous condition. Our stand, our terracing area is fabulous, a car park, and everything is just brilliant about the area in Kingspan Breffni. This is the next phase, and this is all about the future. It's all about having our own centre of excellence, having our own hub where we're going to have our kids coming through, our development squads, our academies, and then developing into a proper senior structure as well.
Right, of course, there's 40 clubs in the county. Maybe you give us an outline on how the clubs might row in behind you on this. Club football is the cornerstone of the county team. So how would you feel that clubs, presumably you're getting great support from the clubs?
Yes, well, we're totally dependent on the clubs, and the clubs already are contributing fantastically to our loan for the development already in Kingspan Breffni. Our club levy is covering that loan for us, and I'd like to thank all the clubs for that. We will be making a presentation to the clubs at our October meeting, and we'll be hoping then from October to December clubs will row in, get into the local community, sell tickets locally for them, paper tickets, and that's what we need. We need the support of the clubs. Without the clubs, we don't have a county board and we don't have a county team, and we have to really be appreciative of the clubs. We have to be appreciative of all the club officers, all the volunteers. The GAA is all about volunteers. The GAA is about family, and we really want to thank the clubs for their commitment to the GAA in Cavan over the generations.
Right, and if you had one last appeal to the viewers of this on Cavan TV, maybe a direct-to-camera just appeal to the public about your competition or your draw here for the house in Dublin.
This is a once in a lifetime opportunity for someone to win this fabulous house worth €375,000 for just as little as €100. If you're in, you have a chance to win it. If you're not in, you don't have a chance. But somebody is going to be the proud owner of this house, and the benefit to Cavan GAA is going to be enormous, not just at the moment, for generations to come. So I encourage everybody, if you don't want to spend €100 yourself, get someone to join in with you, buy it between you. Go online on www.winthedreamindublin15.ie and see the house, see what you can get for €100. It's a fabulous opportunity, so I encourage all Cavan people to come out and support this wonderful cause.
Jerry Brady, Chairman of the Cavan County Board, thank you very much for talking to us on Cavan TV.
Thanks very much.
For a while.
Could I talk to this man about this? Yeah.
176.
So James Farley, Chief Steward at the sheep competition. Maybe outline the different categories that's involved for the Virginia show here.
Well, we have a lot of different classes and new classes added this year, and we have great competition. Judging is just started. Competition is the best ever I've seen in all the years. Gets better every year. Competitors, we have a competitor from Donegal, from Longford, from several different counties. But the day is just not going to help us. It's after starting to rain. But hopefully we have a bit of cover over us today that we get through it.
Well, I might just move out of the way here so that, and you talk away. I'll just get you to stand over here so that we can see and talk what the judges are looking for in the animal.
Well, the judges are looking now at this particular class. They're looking for size, for length, and for width. And they examine to see the head, they have a good head, and the way they're able to, the way the exhibitor can show them, and the way the actual sheep can show herself. There's a big difference. I know that line up there you could give everyone the first prize in your own way, but the judges sort them out and they even let them out and they turn them around to get the last out of them. Yeah.
I heard some figures, some of the prize-winning sheep can be very valuable, so it must be important for the farmer to be able to cultivate one from early on to have it a show-class animal.
Yeah, well, it's gone that way now. I'm told today there's an exhibitor here. He was actually at a sale inside the last 2 weeks, given 12,000 for a Texel ram and was outbid. He came home without any, but there was one lamb he meant to buy, and he was taken out. at 12. He was a long way over what he thought he was going to have to give, but he came home without the ram.
Right.
They're gone. Yeah.
Virginia Show is one of the premium shows in Ireland. What sort of geographical area do people come from?
Well, they come from, you could actually say, the half of Ireland to Virginia Show. We have them from all over, the 4 provinces. Big undertaking now. Donegal man, it takes them 4 hours to get here. He doesn't let us down. We have them from Monaghan, from Longford, from all the different counties. Yeah. Competition in Virginia. If you win in Virginia, it's like winning a race in Galway.
And of course the judges, we spoke about the judges for the cattle. The judges must be very experienced in this field as well.
Very, very experienced. We're blessed here down the years to have top judges. The top judges in Ireland judge at Virginia Show. In the sheep, I don't know much about the cattle, but in the sheep section, we have great judges. The top of the range, yes.
And is there an international element once you complete in the competitions in Ireland? Are there any international elements in Europe or for the sheep?
Well, there is. It's getting more that way now. That there is. It was at one time it was type of ordinary stock, but now it's gone top of the range now. One better than the other.
Right, well, thanks very much for giving us an indication of first of all, what happens in the sheep area, and every success to all the farmers that are taking part. So thank you very much. And
thanks very much to you for having me.
We're here in the food hall at the Virginia Show 2019. A lot of people spend weeks and weeks preparing for the show and then bring their produce, and hopefully they get a positive result from it. We'll take a look around now for the next couple of minutes. With Barry Coulter from Country Cider. That seems to be on the up now in Ireland, both cider and gin. So tell us how you produce your cider and where you get your raw materials from.
I grow 30 acres of cider apple trees, approximately 6,000 trees in County Cavan. The trees are actually specific cider trees. They're processed in Poles, County Cavan, and we have a small bottling unit in Cavan Town. We do our own bottling and pasteurising in the county. So everything from the apple right to the bottling stage, I do it in the county.
But of course you had a tradition years ago in the distribution, so you would have a good network to be able to get the product to market.
We also used to manufacture the famous Cavan Cola in Cavan Town. And we're still working on a new formula. That's not dead. There's a new formula coming out.
I was at the Taste of Cavan and I saw some of the graphics on that. That seemed to be as iconic as what do you call the American artist that had the Coca-Cola bottles. So Cavan Cola is now becoming an Art Deco piece.
That's right. That's correct, yeah. I'm actually in contact with an English company who's going to rehash the formula for me.
Oh, right. So you have it secretly stashed away like Coca-Cola and Pepsi in a secret location.
We're down to now, we're just missing one ingredient. We have the rest of the ingredients now all lined up, and we're just working on the last ingredient.
Yeah, well, that's one area, but we'll say your cider, how many different ranges have you?
I have 2 different ciders. I have a medium dry and a sweet one. That's medium dry there. That's actually the most popular among the men, and the women prefer the red one, which is this one here. Medium sweet.
And price-wise, how does that compare to the not saying brand leaders, but how does that compare to the Diageo one and some of the other imported brands?
What we're offering our customers, no more actual alcohol. Most of those brands are, say, 4.5%. We're offering almost 6% in pint bottles. And it's actually selling here today for 3 pints for our tenner.
Right. Well, okay, that's lovely to hear from a local producer. And Barry Coulton, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Here we have another very important part of the Virginia show, and that's the flower arrangement. We can see some rosettes here on some of the different... So maybe we'll just run along if we can at all. It's very busy here in the hall. I just get these for 1 second. We're running down with the... Of course, art is a very important part as well, and we seem to have animal art and farmyard art. Some magnificent paintings that must have taken quite a while to produce. Definitely one of my favourites. If you can see some of those beautiful sponge cakes, apple tarts, rhubarb tarts, scones, everything you could mention, absolutely fantastic. And here we have the vegetables. Some very fantastic parsnips and carrots, turnips, potatoes. Just showing the quality of Irish produced vegetables. Of course, no event will be complete without the jams, and everyone can remember their mum, whether it be apple, plum, black currants, gooseberries even. And jam is a staple thing of every household. Some fantastic stuff here. I can see a lot of first reds and blues, so very high standard.
Can I take photos of the flowers with you and I'll just get you to chat away? Yeah, okay. Can you come down a little further? Could you need? Yeah. The problem is if you need, we can't get back up again. No. So I'm going to get the Tyrians to chat to each other. Can you look at Heather? Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I won't do it enough. Hey, Brian.
So you're a very special lady today. You've met the Minister Humphreys.
Yeah.
And you have your flowers.
And I suppose I'm just saying now that I met you.
Well, I'm only one part of it, so yeah. So you're a great lady and a great age.
Thank you.
And so hopefully you'll be able to recall some of the tales over time. You must have had a great experiences.
Yes, but it grows on you after a while and kind of,
And your family, you have good support from your family?
Oh, the best. They couldn't be better. Yeah.
Well, lovely talking to you, Áine, and thank you very much.
You're more than welcome.
Here we have the oldest lady at the Virginia show and the youngest. And Minister Humphreys is joining them.
Mummy, get in there.
Now, Marion. Sorry. No, I get you. I think somebody's in love with the baby. Isn't he beautiful?
Oh, he's gorgeous. And he's dressed to the nines. Oh my God.
Thank you. I love your baby. She's here. She's here.
Now we're joined by the mum of the youngest baby. We saw the youngest baby and the oldest lady at the Virginia Show 2019. A beautiful baby, must take after his mum.
Thank you. He's only 5 weeks. 5 weeks yesterday.
And of course, this is his first, but it'll be a great one to remember.
He's got,
having
yeah.
met
He'll have many more, I hope.
And the minister as well. So, many have you in the family?
Oh, this is the first.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah, and the first one and the first trip out for the big show, isn't it? So he's very good so far.
He's very quiet. He must take after his mum.
Oh, he does, of course. I'd say the crowd now is keeping him occupied. He's busy looking around, aren't you?
Well, it's lovely, and thank you very much for talking to us. We're here with Niamh Smith. The Dáil is in recess, but you're busier than ever.
We are, surely, Brian. It's wonderful to see here at Virginia Show such terrific excitement and all the crowds that are here. Despite the rain, it certainly hasn't dampened the excitement of the Virginia Agricultural Show.
You hear about all the jobs going in Dublin, but when you look around Virginia and all the people that are here, there's still a lot of employment outside of the capital.
Absolutely. When you see the Glanbia tent here today and also the Lakeland Dairies, they are some of our major employers, and of course keep our agri sector going right across Cavan and the whole border region. And it's wonderful to see them here today, meeting and greeting the farmers, the people that are their consumers, and that's all important to give people that opportunity to have the conversation with people that are working behind the scenes.
Yeah, well, the agri sector is in the news at the moment, particularly the beef end of things. How there was some question about a resolution, but how do you feel that, can the government make much of a difference, or can they contribute?
Well, I certainly think Minister Creed has to intervene here, and we were listening to the reports from the beef plan discussions, and they seem to have been unfruitful and unsatisfactory, I suppose, to the beef plan movement. That would be my reading and assessment of the analysis that they've given this morning on those talks, and I think you will see further talks and further negotiations, because as they said themselves, the farmers, particularly beef and suckler farmers, are really on their knees, and they're hemorrhaging in terms of their turnover all the time, and that's not sustainable in any business. And in counties like Cavan and particularly with Brexit looming large as well, that's not sustainable. We do not want to see farmers going out of business, and we want to be encouraging young people, and we see lots of young people around here today at Virginia Show. We need to be encouraging them that the land is somewhere that they can exist, somewhere that they can make a living, and somewhere that they can have sustainable living.
Yeah, but times are slightly difficult in the future maybe, and your party has supported the government. When do you feel that enough is enough? Is it a couple of months after post-Brexit?
Well, it certainly has been difficult for us as a party, and I'd have to correct you in saying that we facilitated a government, because we don't want to see what has been happening in Westminster, where there's possibility of another general election looming, and that is not helpful to us. So, Fianna Fáil's position has been very clear that we are taking the responsible position. We are sustaining and allowing a government to perform and to do its duties as best it can. It hasn't been the way we would do things, and I think people out there realise that. Our own spokesperson on agriculture, Charlie McConnell, has been very vocal both on the beef crisis and all the fodder crisis, all the different crises that have happened along the line. And I think Minister Creed certainly needs to come out more front and centre in terms of the current problem in terms of the beef sector, and intervene, engage and ensure that the farming sector is sustainable.
I think the council elections would have indicated the public have respect for you now, that you're in effect supporting, and there probably would have been a few opportunities where you could have, but for the good of the nation you decided you'd stay with it. So they must be difficult decisions, knowing that you're just there to support a government, that maybe not doing it as well as you might do it.
Well, it certainly wouldn't be the way we would do it, but it has been difficult. There's been no doubt about it. And of course, we've been, I suppose, there for a lot of criticism in terms of being the facilitating opposition that has allowed government to. But I think people do respect, and they do have high regard for the fact that both Micheál Martin and our party, as an opposition party, have not played politics. That we have been there to try our best to hold this government to account in a very favourable position for ourselves. We would rather be over on the government benches doing the job as we would see fit, and I think we would be more about rural Ireland than the current government as we see it as it is.
But with events like the Taste of Cavan a fortnight ago and the Virginia Show now, that's showing Cavan in a very positive light in quite a number of fields, so it must be great for you to be able to attend those and talk to constituents.
Yeah, absolutely. The Taste of Cavan, the Virginia Agricultural Show, I know Arva had their agricultural show, Castleblaney Agricultural agriculture show. All these different events allow us as public representatives to get out there, meet with people, and I suppose gauge the temperature of where people are really at and how life has really been, because we have seen a lot of rhetoric about, you know, a booming economy, but that hasn't been the reality for people on the ground, and particularly in rural Ireland. And again, I don't like to be talking too much about Brexit looming large, but unfortunately it is a reality for us. And my own colleague Lisa Chambers was out speaking about this during the week as well. I mean, we do not see and we do not feel that this government is actually Brexit ready for what is potentially a no-deal Brexit in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, of course, when you come to events like this on the Test of Cavan and talk to local producers along the border, it sort of the penny drops in saying, could this, you know, and you see the reality of what it could be.
Well, we see the fluctuation of the sterling all the time, which, and from speaking with people in the financial sector too, they have seen a slowdown in terms of young people drawing down mortgages, and that is not good. It is not good for rural counties like Cavan and Monaghan. We've seen a lot of rhetoric around a booming economy, but my feeling of that is that is really in the more urban areas like Dublin, Galway, Cork, and we really have been the forgotten land in terms of where has the investment been. And I, as a public representative, certainly wouldn't be happy with the National Development Plan 2040 currently as it stands, because in my view we're a constituency that deserves a motorway to Cavan Town, that deserves a motorway to Monaghan Town, that deserves a railway to Kingscourt. We talk about climate change and we're in the midst of an agricultural show where farmers are to the pin of their collar to meet legislation, to meet all the guidelines, to meet everything that's put in place for them, and we need to be making that sustainable and possible for them against the backdrop of climate change as well.
Well, that's brilliant to see in a very positive mode and a smile on your face at the Virginia show in 2019. Thanks very much, Neil Smith, for talking to us.
Thank you, Brian.
We're here with Owen Brody, PRO of the Virginia show. Very successful despite the inclement conditions.
I'm really happy with the crowd, and the people that are down here are really enjoying what they're doing. As you can see outside, it's a bit mucky at the minute, but it's not too bad, and not too much rain. So we're really happy and really impressed with how many people have turned out in the day, considering, and everywhere I go people are quite happy in it. So
yeah, it seems we were out earlier and we got to see quite a few people, and there seem to be happy faces. But I think the general consensus, people going to these events are prepared and they're bringing the right clothing, and when you have the right clothing, it doesn't make any difference what the weather is.
Isn't that right? Like Ireland is that type of country. You just have to wear appropriate clothing wherever you go, and today's a classic case of that. So
yeah, but of course the weather is only one constituent. That give a fantastic show, enormous amount of entries in all the different competitions. Maybe you just run through briefly some of the competitions that for people that are viewing.
Yeah, for those viewing near and wide and far away, about 500 competitions on the day. We have, for the last 3 years, successfully had over 3,000 entries. This year, I think it's actually tipped the highest. We're nearly hitting 3,200 entries altogether. That's an awful lot of work for people in the office to staff and manage over the last 2 or 3 weeks and compile it and get it right. And we're delighted with the entries, and I hope the competitors enjoy themselves today. And I'm already hearing some great compliments from the judges on the quality and the standard, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, well, for some people who might think that agriculture is something that you get in the supermarket, it's evident that there's a lot of hard work. A lot of people are very dedicated to the cause of all the different forms of agriculture in rural Ireland.
Yeah, look, Virginia Show is a great organisation. We've been running 78 years. We have over 200 farmers or people that were born in farming families involved in the show. They are committed to agriculture in rural areas, and that's the highlight to us as farmers in Virginia Show, is that we're able to showcase what we do every year at Virginia Show. We're able to connect with the non-farming public and the people that aren't farming anymore, or the retired people, and they get to appreciate what farmers are doing and how we try to keep up with stuff.
Oh, of course, yeah, because there's something for every member of the family, from children. In fact, we spoke earlier to the mother of the youngest baby, who was only 5 weeks old, and of course the oldest lady with 104. So that must be lovely for you as an organiser of an event to see such a range of people who attend the show.
Absolutely, and the diversity of ages is fantastic, and then we have also diversity of people of what they do, and it's quite. What amazed, we ran the farm conference this morning, and what amazed me year on year, there's a great bunch of male, female, middle age, old age, young age farmers, non-farmers, they're all there, and it brings out the best in everybody for Junior Show.
Yeah, but everything, the food, the downstream side of food has changed, because long ago it was either you might have been a diabetic and then you had everything else, but now you have celiacs, you have maybe, I counted one time about 4 or 5 different people that have different specialties. So now food is more diverse now, and the preparation and the presentation of it is completely different than it would have been even 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, I accept that, and I've one of my own family have an allergy to nuts, and they understand that. But there's food for everybody, and good, wholesome food that's well made with limited amount of process is what it's all about, and that's what farmers produce. So.
Of course, as PRO, one of your roles is liaison with sponsors and people who exhibitors. So that must be a daunting task, because that just doesn't start on the day before the event. It probably starts the day after the event.
It starts on the day of the event to make sure they're all happy here this year and what we can improve on for next year. And the show is 3 separate parts that all combine on the day. We have the part of the sponsors and people that help out the judges on trade stands, and then we have the people who come on the day. And they're the 3 components, and they're all equally important. And as a PR, and I'm not the only, we have 3 PROs, and we have a group of other people that are involved in press promotion and working with the press, and it's been a busy 2 months, and probably for the next week or 2 we'll be able to relax and rewind, but we're already taking notes for next year. So.
Right, yeah, because social media is very important now in the preparation and marketing of any event. I saw even last night quite a few things on the social media channels. Of course, we're going out on Cavan Television Ireland Facebook and CavanTV.com and a few other channels, MeadTV.com, because we're close by. Yeah. So it means that you have access now to a global audience, in a sense.
I know, and it's fantastic to embrace that global audience. Like, agriculture is the biggest industry in the globe. There's over 4 billion people involved in agriculture around the whole globe, and if we can engage with them, or the Irish diaspora around the world, I think there's 120 odd million people around the world say they're Irish, so if we can embrace and engage with them on a global basis, isn't it great for all of us?
Of course, yeah, and a lot of the multinationals now are global. They have their businesses in all areas of the world, so it means that a firm that might have started small in Ireland 60 years ago are now a global business rather than just a national one.
Yeah. Like I supply my co-op, and it deals in over 90 countries around the world. So it's good then if we know there's suppliers or end users of our products in some country in the world, and they're getting to see you on TV and can engage with where the food is coming from. Isn't that good for all of us? But the core of Virginia Show is showing the quality of what the farmers do in this greater area, and to engage with the public for that benefit and for the farmers' benefit too.
Well, of course, local produce is very important to any of the fair, and it's probably important for the farmer as well, because it's a steady income, and they can rely, if they have good produce, then that they get a better share of the market.
Yeah, and for the farmer to understand that 90% of what we produce in Ireland is exported out of Ireland, and that we have to engage with the global audience, and it's a big story.
Right.
But Virginia Show today, we've had a good day. We've had no accidents. We've had limited amount of cars or tractors, lorries getting stuck. People around the grounds are really happy. We are disappointed with the crowd, there's no doubt about it, but then some people decided to stay at home thinking it might be wet, but it's not so bad, but that's the way it goes. We're already planning for next year, so it should be good.
Oh, that's brilliant, Owen, and it's lovely meeting up with you and going through a lot of the areas that of your responsibility, and we're in the Glanbia tent, and that's fairly active, so obviously with being a local employer and a local receiver of quality milk from the area, it's great to get support from them.
Oh no, absolutely. We have had great connection with them for the last 38 years with the Bailey's cow competition. It's an amazing competition. We have 22 cows going to go out to the ring now in probably about 20 minutes time, and that's going to be a fine show, and there's judges flown over from England, and without Bailey's, Diageo and Glanbia, that wouldn't happen, and we really appreciate that. And having the Glanbia factory just out the road in Virginia is very important to the area. A lot of farmers supplying it, and a lot of people in the area working in it, and at the minute we're very proud. We actually have a show member who's managing the factory poultry there. So, and that's good to see.
And that's brilliant now. And so that's from Owen from the PRO from the Virginia Show 2019. Now with Anthony Farley from Glanbia. Glanbia have been a great supporter to the Virginia Show.
Yeah, Glanbia is supporting the Virginia Show for the last, the competition itself is here since 1983, so we're supporting it since that with the Diageo Bailey's relationship. So we have a strong relationship with Bailey's, supplying the cream for their cream product there, and our milk all comes from the local area. So supporting the show is showcasing the best of cows, which goes into our Glanbia with the cream that we supply for the Glanbia products.
So apart from the farming community, which probably a couple of counties, you have local people employed as well?
Yeah, we have up to 100 people directly employed to it, but the figure overall there probably will be up on maybe 300 people between contractors in and out. So to the area it's worth a lot of money to the local area, local economy, because we have all our hauliers in and out is owned by the hauliers themselves, and within the plant we have about 100 people working there. So all from the local counties, from Meath, Monaghan, Cavan, and across then some into Leitrim as well.
Of course, we said the beef end of agriculture is in the news at the moment. How would you be affected, or are there any things that can change how competitive you could be, or the cost base on the dairy side?
Well, on the dairy side we just have to keep processing our milk as efficiently as possible, keeping our overheads down and keeping the maximising our throughput throughout the plants, so to keep the overheads down to produce the product.
Yeah, energy costs are a key factor. I presume now that you have energy recovery and quite a few other pieces in the plant now.
Yeah, energy recovery, and we're working with external energy efficiency providers, EM3, to reduce our energy costs year on year. So we have a sustainability programme where we're increasing our production is to reduce our energy usage 2% each year.
Right. Yeah. Well, we spoke to a few people involved with the Virginia Show, and they're very appreciative of the support that Glanbia give to them. So, and there's also the competition a little bit later on now that you're promoting, and the cup is the Glanbia. Maybe you go through the. Oh no, that's a Diageo one, which is a
sponsored by Glanbia and Diageo.
Right. So, Andy, thank you very much for talking to us on Cavan TV.
Thank you.
We're with Jim Harrison, the National Secretary of the Irish Shows Association. It must be a big challenge for you nationally with all the events that take place.
Yes, indeed, Brian, it is. It's 136 shows throughout Ireland, and so we have to try and look after them all, which is not easy. But it's a great event here today for the rural community. It's marvellous to see such amount of people here on a wet day, on a dampish day. So it's just great for the rural community.
Yeah, and not all instances people, as somebody said earlier, that they think that agriculture and farming comes from a supermarket, but you're in the same constituency, so you're from County Monaghan, but so you can relate to all the farming activities when you're talking to people.
Yeah, indeed. Farming, in my opinion, doesn't come from the supermarket, it comes from the field. To be honest with you start in the field and you work your way up to the supermarket, and the supermarket's important as well as everything else. And we all know the difference in from the field to the supermarket, from field to fork, as I always say. That's what food's all about.
Yeah, but there seems to be a tremendous array of we recorded the vegetables, the home cooking, even artwork, like the farming art with cattle and machinery and everything. So it seems to cover quite a wide gambit of agriculture
if you take a walk around here today, and there's everything to be seen, from sheep, cattle, horses, dairy, beef, everything, cooking, flowers, bacon, everything. We have everything, schools, everything's here today. So look, it's well worth, if you even not from the farming background, to have a look around and see where all this stuff comes from and where it goes to. And it's great to see so many exhibitors out here showing their stock and keeping the name up and all that,
Yeah, it was surprising some of the people who were involved in the judging give an indication of the value of the animals, and I was astounded by the value of some of the top animals animals on show here.
Oh yes, very much so. Like you're looking at thousands here, Brian. So it's great to see people out. You have to get out if you're going to be at the top of your game in anything. From an orange to a red limousine, it doesn't really matter. If you want to be on the top of your game in them, you have to get out there and show it to people and let people see it. And even though, it's your first time here exhibiting, and you're very welcome, but it's important to get out there and show your wares and get your name out there, and then they'll say, well, Paddy Joe down the road was at Virginia show, and I'll go down and see, has he a bull, or has he a heifer, or has he a whatever, so it's good to have that,
So the word gets round. The Irish Show Association, it doesn't just deal with agricultural shows, I'm sure. What range of type of shows would you are involved with organising in the different communities?
No, it's all agricultural shows, Brian. We deal with agricultural Moilney shows, that's what it is. We organise insurance for them, which is very, very important. Insurance nowadays, as you know, and everybody knows, insurance is going skyrocket. So we try and keep that to a minimum, and we get grants from the government. And we got a grant there last Friday from the Department of Agriculture to combat our insurance and keep that cheaper. So we'll be giving that out now. I'll be posting that out round to the shows later in the year. And also we get funding from the Department of Rural Affairs. So it's very important to get all this funding to keep the rural shows going. And I must say and thank Michael Ring for his contribution to us. And we met with him several times, and he's very much into shows himself, and he knows what rural life's all about. So it's very important to get that fund, and we've got it this past 2 years, and we hope to get it again next year for going forward. So it's good to get all them things,
Well, it's lovely to see somebody that has a positive view, because sometimes you hear the government this and the government that, but you find that the support that you're given is a very positive move and a great support to rural communities in Ireland.
Yeah, we lobbied long and hard for a good few years there to get funding, and finally we got it, and it's great. And I have to be positive to the department, because when you're getting money to keep rural Ireland alive, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, your home area, of course, is similar to the area here. We're having the lush pasture lands of County Meath or the Golden Vale and that. Yeah. So it must be even more important for people in these sort of areas to be able to showcase and to get benefit from their tenure.
Yeah, I'm from Castleblaney in County Monaghan myself, and I suppose County Monaghan is called the Drumlin Hills. As I always say, we made that much land, we had to put it on top of our other. So it's good, and look, there's a lot of good agricultural farmers out there at the minute, and look, things not good, especially in the beef sector, and I know that as well as everyone. And look, the best thing can do in the beef sector, in my opinion, is everyone work together. We're pulling too much apart, and it's sad to see one side pulling against the other, and we're getting nowhere. Join together and get a link going, and get everybody deserves a fair crack at the whip.
Certainly, yeah. And thanks very much, Jim, for talking to us, because it's an enlightening thing to see that your lobbying and campaigning has been successful, and that'll look well for all the agricultural shows in 2020.
Yeah, indeed, and thanks you very much for the interview, Brian, and look, I hope the shows go from strength to strength.
Thank you very much.